Apartment block. A large building that is divided into apartments. For example, my family used to live in an apartment block. Bank. A place for storing other valuable material. For example, a blood bank. Bookshop. A shop or website where books are sold. For example, I work 3 mornings a week at the bookshop. Cafe. A restaurant where simple and usually quite cheap meals are served. For example, there's a little cafe on the corner that serves very good coffee. Cafeteria. A restaurant where people collect food and drink from a serving area and take it to a table themselves after paying for it. For example, Carmen led Felipe to the cafeteria. Castle. A large strong building, built in the past by a ruler or important person to protect the people inside from attack. For example, the castle is set on a steep hill. Cinema. A theater where people pay to watch films. For example, we'd already been to the local cinema twice that week. Clinic. A building, often part of a hospital, to which people can go for medical care or advice relating to a particular condition. For example, bring your baby to the clinic and we'll take a look at her. Club. A team. For example, Stockport County Football Club. College. A university where you can study for an undergraduate, equals first degree. For example, they want their kids to go to college. Cottage. A small house, usually in the countryside. For example, they live in a country cottage. Department store. A large shop divided into several different parts, each of which sells different things. For example, parents can choose to shop at a discount department store. Disco. An event where people dance to modern recorded music for entertainment, or a place where this often happens. For example, they have a disco there every Wednesday night. Elevator. A small room in a tall building which carries people or goods up and down to different levels of the building. For example, I took the elevator to her office on the 14th floor. Entrance. The right to enter a place. For example, they dropped me off at the main entrance. Exit. A smaller road used to leave a main road. For example, turn off the motorway at the next exit. Factory. A building or set of buildings where large amounts of goods are made using machines. For example, a car factory. Flat. A set of rooms for living in that are part of a larger building and are usually all on one floor. For example, a furnished flat. Gallery. A room or building that is used for showing works of art, sometimes so that they can be sold. For example, a contemporary art gallery. Garage. A place where cars are repaired. For example, The car is still at the garage getting fixed. Grocery store. A store where food and small items for the house are sold. For example, I went to the grocery store. Guest house. A small house near a larger one, where guests who are invited to the larger house can stay. For example, he stayed at the guest house for 2 nights. Hospital. A place where people who are very ill or injured are treated by doctors and nurses. For example, she spent a week in the hospital last year. Hotel. A building where you pay to have a room to sleep in, and where you can sometimes eat meals. For example, we stayed in a hotel on the beach. Library. A building, room, or organization that has a collection, especially of books, for people to read or borrow, usually without payment. For example, a public library. Museum. A building where objects of historical, scientific, or artistic interest are kept. For example, a museum of modern art. Office. A room or building in which people work, especially sitting at desks with computers, phones, etc., as a part of a business or other organization. For example, the meeting is at their offices in San Diego. Palace. A large house that is the official home of a king, queen, or other person of high social rank. For example, Buckingham Palace is open to the public. Police station. The local office of the police in a town or part of a city. For example, he was taken to the police station for questioning. Pool. A small area of usually still water. For example, we looked for crabs in the rock pools along the seashore. Post office. A place where stamps are sold, and from where letters and packages are sent. For example, a local post office. Prison. A building where criminals are forced to live as a punishment. For example, he spent a lot of time in prison. Railway station. A place with one or more buildings and platforms where trains stop for people to get on or off. For example, a taxi had dropped him and his luggage at the main railway station. Ruin. The process or state of being spoiled or destroyed. For example, they let the building fall into ruin. Sports center. A building where you can play different sports. For example, we are in a big sports center. Stadium. A large closed area of land with rows of seats around the sides and often with no roof, used for sports events and musical performances. For example, the stadium has a seating capacity of 50,000. Supermarket. A large shop which sells most types of food and other goods needed in the home. For example, I have to stop at the supermarket on the way home. Swimming pool. An artificial area of water for swimming. For example, an outdoor swimming pool. theater. A building, room, or outside structure with rows of seats, each row usually higher than the one in front, from which people can watch a performance or other activity. For example, we had seats in the front row of the theater. Information Center. A place where members of the public can get information about an area, organization, activity, etc. For example, Florence Station also has a large information center. Tower. A tall, narrow structure, often square or circular, that either forms part of a building or stands alone. For example, the Eiffel Tower. University. A place where people study for an undergraduate, equals first, or postgraduate, equals higher level, degree. For example, I graduated from Liverpool University in 2012.